Rien.
It's nothing.
Il n'y a rien.
I Lestats asshole. Oh, Armand's different. What is going on, gang? It is your boy Raymond. Interview with the Vampire, episode 3, season 2. We are here. I really enjoy the way the Patreon group is interacting to an extent where I never feel like anybody's trying to influence my well, first shout out to you guys, but I feel like nobody's ever trying to influence my enjoyability or what I think about a character. Even whenever y'all shed light on certain things or characters, it always just comes from like it's never like, oh, you ain't looking at this character right, oh, you ain't doing this right. It's like, well, I kind of see it like this, and what do you think about what I'm saying? And I really with how the community is over here. A lot of y'all have given me some insight into Louis or some things that like I did forget. His mom used to talk hellish shit, and like that is like a connection or a trail that's kind of like connects them in that sense. Whenever Louis feels with, he does tend to lash out or come off very I don't even want to say egotistical. He just comes off as like, you see that pimp kind of rise back up out of him, and Anderson does a great job of showing that switching gears on his face. It's so subtle, but you gotta like really be watching because my eyes are so bad. It's not like I ever go back and watch another episode to kind of refresh myself or pick up little clues that I might have missed. I don't do that at all. Like, I've only seen every episode one time. I haven't watched any breakdowns. I haven't gotten any extra stuff just from talking with y'all. That's the only extra that I get. Maria had a great. I do want to talk about Maria's comment. We're not gonna do the whole the whole thing because it's hard for me to even get my eyes to go. She says, "I'm late to the party. I know, but today was a long day. So here is a short disclaimer that I'm gonna use from now on because I need it. I have not read any of the other comments yet because I wanted to give you my uninfluenced opinion in reaction to your reaction. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating something that you have already read a million times. Also, I won't be commenting on a few things, but would love to hear more of your thoughts concerning the following topics. Louis and Armand as a couple and how their dynamic plays into the situation. The situation, I'm guessing, the entire episode. Louis and Armand as a couple, for me, is, like I said, Armand is still a question mark, so I don't necessarily know what to say more than just he seems to have a lot more kinder, gentler approach in his relationship with Louis than Lestat did. They've been together 77 years, is what they said. So from the outside looking in, their dynamic seems to be really healthy. But who knows? There might be more to it. Even when it comes to double teaming Daniel, they was both on that together. Anytime they have discussions, like they're going off, talking to each other, having their little moments, and it's never like there's no, from what we're seeing, there's no tit for tat with them. It's more just normal relationships so far. How you perceive Louis and Armand's dynamic versus Louis and Lestat's dynamic. Louis and Lestat's dynamic was explosive, new, fresh, highs and lows, and it was like that almost young love where we're just trying things and putting things together and seeing what works. And now I want you to stay with me, so let's have a baby and let's just do any and everything. And Louis Lestat was trying to almost push things out of Louis that just might not have been there. You turn the faucet on and there's not even a trickle of water. And then also Lestat in his I always forget that word, infidelities. Oh wow. Right, I think it's infidelities. Lestat and his infidelities and how he couldn't be faithful in their relationship or anything like that. So yeah, I would say it's completely different, and Armand's and Louis seems healthy, and Lestat's and Louis seemed like they were heavily in love, but very, very toxic, very 100 miles per hour. This seems like more of a gentle, cool breeze, almost like they're riding bikes whenever Louis and Lestat were driving a Ferrari. I will say this: describing Armand as a question mark is probably the most accurate description of the character I've heard so far, and I think that's part of the enjoyment when it comes to his character as well. So once again, let the tail seduce you or befuddle you or whatever it's doing. Is there any more questions you have in here for me? Oh, see, and that's one thing I feel like, and I don't put the blame on anybody because I said something different in the moment and I fleshed out my thought at the end of the episode and in the description. And I think some people misinterpreted what I was saying. When I said I'm paraphrasing. When I said Claudia and her travels to find good vampires, found a group that's just like Lestat, I'm saying they have a lot of characteristics that Lestat has displayed. You know, they even come from the same theater hall, the filleting, putting humans on display to humiliate them and do things like that. And I also said, I know they haven't hurt them yet. They haven't done anything bad to Louis or Claudia yet. But the way our mom was talking at the end of the episode saying, hey, look, some people in the Covenant handle some things differently, led me personally to believe, because I don't have the hindsight of watching the whole show, so I'm just using that as a context clue to say, oh, there's potential there for these guys to be insane and potentially cause physical and emotional damage to Claudia and Louis. And that's all I was saying. So I'm not saying, oh, they're perfect vampires and this is exactly what she wants, or I'm not saying that she was even scared or this isn't something that she wanted to be around. I'm saying there's just, I feel personally, there's more to be shown with these characters than just this and what they do to humans. I think there is potential there for them to be doing that type of same shit to Louis and Lestat, and maybe we have a moment where Claudia realizes, oh, these motherfuckers ain't too different from him. And like I said, you guys have seen the whole show. Y'all might have watched breakdowns. Y'all might have read the book, so y'all have all the knowledge. I don't. I'm just giving you what I think could be happening. Loved your reaction to the picture. Lestat. That was 10 out of 10. Would watch again. To Ben Daniels as Santiago was, he invited that scene. Like, there was no way to not feel uncomfortable with that. The way he was uncomfortable in a good way. Like he that transfer of emotion of what he was trying to make you feel was crazy. His voice inflections and the way that he was really into that role, and even the little wink at the end, everything that he was doing with his role was sick. And I don't feel like I commented on him enough, just because I was trying to keep up with the scene itself, as far as like the emotion that it was trying to give out of you. But it was dope. It was clean as too. Let's get into this episode, guys. Oh, we're getting Daniel outside of the interview.
Partial to the non-wriggling items, I should have said that.
We cede power to the chef, submit to his whims, to his eye at the fish markets, a series of risks.
Pause already. I think it's really interesting that Daniel says he's partial to the things that aren't wiggling. But if we think back to, I forget what episode it was, he was telling him and Louis were kind of reminiscing on a past conversation they had. And he told him, make me a vampire. I feel like you're wasting the gift. But now today he's real squeamish around things that could be moving on his plate. And maybe that plays into watching, Louis suck on Armand's neck and Real Rashid. on Real Rashid's neck and things like that. So I'm going to run it back because I didn't hear what this character is saying. But I thought that was, I don't know if it's an intentional callback, but it does kind of flesh out Daniel's character. And what's up with his attitude?
The perils of Omakase.
Right.
Under the burning sky. The one about Enron.
A reader. Well, prepare yourself for disappointment.
Sorry.
Although that could be very Mossad.
I wish I'd be better funded. No. I work for another watchful shop.
A stake in the story I'm writing. You have me bugged. Or you want me to think you do?
We were tracking 900 of them a month ago. We're tracking 1,600 now. It's real. It's happening.
They're moving.
Well, then you have a more immediate problem than a book being researched. Got a name?
What's about to go on? I'm thinking, okay, whenever the vampires start moving or whenever we start getting outside like entities, like it's gonna really start happening with Louis and Armand and them first, but we got like some type of agent coming and speaking to Daniel about the situation and letting him know that winter is coming. Letting him know that things are about to change. Like, I like that. And I think the show's done a really good job of, once you start to kind of expect some beats, it changes. Like the first 3 episodes is, you know, Louis, Lestat and their dynamic, and then we have the introduction of Claudia, which kind of just changes everything. So the story's like, it's just constantly evolving and introducing ways in a way that feels real and earned, and it's just, dude. So who knows where we're about to go. I'm excited.
I could give you the names of 4 others you have, and they're all dead. The name's Raglan James. Bet your infamous friends in
Anyone
the
here a
penthouse
fan of
wouldn't dream
intelligence
providing.
officers? We got a live one.
He blowing his spot up.
How many Rashids, Rashid?
I suspect just enough to help them stay hidden.
No, that's how billionaire vampires do it.
He could kill us both now, but he doesn't. They are peaceful beings.
They drain and disappear us.
They have a biological imperative that is in conflict with human morality.
And here is, bro, we're pausing again. Here is the conundrum that's not played, but been a thorn the entire show. People want to label them as vampires. People want to label them as human. I see it as more, y'all know those graphs that it's like 2 circles that intersect and you have shared things. Imagine instead of that graph, you take one circle. This is going to be so hard to imagine, but I don't have anything to show it to y'all. You have one circle and the other circle is just bigger than the other one. They both contain all the human elements, but the bigger circle on the outside of it has like feeding on blood, levitating, not being able to go out of the sun. So yes, they are human, but they transcend human completely. There are things that we can't fathom or do that is also part of them. So they are human, but they are above that to me.
A romantic answer to your question. When exposed, they feed or run. And I'd say we're multimillionaires. Not quite a billion. It was wrong of Louis to enter your memories yesterday.
In the cloud.
We should probably wait for him.
He trying to do the same thing to him.
Your cell phones make you slaves to your fetishes. And data retrieval is primarily about profit, so I suspect no one at Amazon is trying to sell us blenders.
You kill nightly.
And sometimes you've watched that kill on the local news. You've never been easier to distract. You're at the height of willful ignorance. We exploit it. It was 1556 when the Roman Coven sent me to lead the shambolic Paris Coven. A face from the subcontinent, French my 4th and poorest language.
Armand's backstory.
Ourselves the children of darkness to protect us from humanity. And though I managed to maintain a discipline and humility for 239 years as Satan's fool to scatter.
I really gotta meet this guy.
I felt his presence before I saw him.
Okay.
Sired by one of my deserters, Magnus.
Sired by one of his deserters, Magnus, bro. The lore of Lestat continues to grow. Like, he was not the reckoning, but he was the shift, the change in what vampires were doing, what they could do. Like, his embellishment, that ferocity, that I don't give a fuck. Like, we're out. We outside. Like my folks would say, we outside with it. Like, Lestat was outside with it. We outside. I really do like to get some more information on Armand as well too, and understanding like the times that he comes from and how different things were just by. It's funny how like he mocks, you know, the cell phones. Like, that is to an extent, a lot of us are slaves to our devices. And you think about the times that he comes from, what he's been through, and how things were then. You know how much change has just happened from, when was I born? 93 till 2024. There's been so much change. So can you imagine all the shit that, I mean, he said it for us, but I never really stopped. Just besides him being ancient, like there were rules and regulations and different ways that he had to do things, and obviously like they didn't have the tools we had. There wasn't anyone, this is headcanon, but like speaking to you about mental health or what you're going through or being like traumatized or like trying to really like they weren't talking like that back then. I'm sure they still communicated and expressed themselves, but it was a completely different way of going about things. All right, Armand. Okay.
Something I hadn't felt before.
No pain?
The fourth of our great laws was writ, no vampire shall ever reveal his true nature to a mortal and let that mortal live.
The goat!
Louis tell it, Lestat becoming a vampire was a horror show.
That may be. But he made a remarkable recovery shortly thereafter. He had that effect on everyone. He
wasn't natural.
Entirely unnatural. Using the dark gift for what? Je sais que tu peux m'entendre, mon enfant.
Qui m'appelle enfant?
Il est mort, n'est-ce pas? Je peux t'apprendre ce qu'il ne t'a pas appris. Viens à moi.
Bro, another come to me moment. Oh, this has been my favorite opening of an episode by far. Like, this is dope. Just understanding Lestat's trauma and the things that he went through, but then him also being able to come into his own and like just embellish and being the what we would consider the vampires of our age, how they are, like, and it was so perfect in episode 4 when he leans that girl over and does like the classic like vampire drain. Like, that's like, when I think of Lestat, that's what I think of, a true our age vampire. And then there's some line here that made me think about Armand too, like, and this almost kind of leads to what I said about, like, I feel like there's more to Armand, and I feel like he's controlling things in a way too, where he's like, he just spelled it out. He said, I needed to ain't that what he said? I needed to control him, not just guide him. Like, he wanted to have power over Lestat.
His vanity was heresy. I had to bring him under my control by any means.
I had to bring him under my control.
His rejections only inflamed me. They watched in secret, fascinated by his disregard for the laws I told them could never be broken.
And is that what is drawing him to Louis in an extent? Like, he's just doing shit that's completely against the norm, like not following their rules, something different, something that breaks him from that mundane like life that he had before of always following things by the book. Gosh damn, this shit, dog. I'm not gonna finish this episode, yo. I'm not gonna finish this episode if we're gonna talk every 3 sentences. I'm sorry, bruh. I'm sorry. And obviously I think, you know, even though Lestat's going through stuff and that he is, you know, happy and stuff right now, to an extent, there's probably a little bit of a front or a facade to try to kind of cover that pain if what he was telling us was true about Magnus, who Armand just confirmed does truly exist. I don't know, dude. This is probably gonna be 3 hours at this rate.
Nous allons nous faire rattraper.
Je l'espère. Entends tout cela.
Qu'est-ce?
I already need season 3.
Tu es toujours au centre de l'attention.
Gardes-tu ce garçon comme aide-mémoire?
Lestat?
La solitude que tu ressens, il ne l'atteindra jamais.
Quand j'aborde comme un larve.
Was it grub?
Lestat, que se passe-t-il?
Rien.
It's nothing.
Il n'y a rien.
Lestat's asshole.
Dans ma tranche.
Strange.
I tolerated his presence too long already. I had to act, or he'd destroy what little I had left.
Lestat!
Oh, getting on your ass now. Nick! That's Nicholas. Did he kill?
Tu ne lui as pas révélé ta vraie nature,
Lestat can't do that.
Je n'ai pas ces pouvoirs.
mais tu l'auras.
Relâche-le! Relâche-le!
Oh, Armand's different.
Je suis le chef de ton clan.
Vicky!
Did he kill Nikki?
Ramène ton gilet chez les larves, veux-tu?
This takes me back to, and this is why we don't get close to humans. and how Lestat talks about the other vampires and what they're capable of. He ran away from them. He didn't want to be close to these motherfuckers for what they. I'm insane. I'm jumping to huge conclusions, but from what they did to Nicky, or maybe because he was. Yo, this is my favorite episode. This is my favorite episode.
Je suis heureux que tu sois venu.
Il a saigné.
Lestat.
C'est amusant de vivre dans un trinité crotté. Qui sont?
Tu vis parmi les mortels.
He don't give a.
C'est un arbre tombé de mes arbres.
You let it happen.
He liked it. He wanted that too.
You led him there so he could destroy it.
His words had been my thoughts for half a century.
Armand.
I love this mother dude.
Vous êtes les dieux.
He's their revolution.
They roamed the streets of Paris, wreaking havoc with mortals. Some could not reconcile the life I had made for them with the life Lestat had told them was possible. They went mad.
So which way was right?
Thing that kept me from the fire.
So why, Armand? Why did you not go out if you wanted all them free?
Je pourrais parler jusqu'à la fin du monde.
Comment transportes-tu l'air en feu?
Demande-t-il tout en dansant dans les cendres. J'aurais pu te prévenir.
Ow, my brain. My brain, because not only did Lestat try and give Nicky the gift, he knew that he wouldn't. Armand told him, I could have told you that Nicky wouldn't rise out of it. But then we think about Lestat going and giving Louis the gift and his battle with it after he's already, like, Lestat is so smart in some ways, but he wants, like, love so much in other ways that he was willing to try and turn Louis into a vampire. But then it doesn't work out with Louis, and then Louis ends up with Armand. But I feel like Armand should also know Louis is probably not so cut out for being a vampire. It's what?
J'ai une idée. Hamlet est mort sur les queues d'une lame empoisonnée. Mais bois le sang à la vue de tous.
Blood on the screen, nice touch. Is Armand infatuated or attracted to Louis because he's the next step in the evolution of vampire? Like, you have Armand from the old days, or what we know as the old days. Then you have Lestat, who brought in a new reckoning, a new way to do things, and then Louis is like a answer to that. You know, over time, everything changes, and there's always answers to every problem. So is it because Louis has tackled being a vampire in a new way that's completely different to Lestat that Armand is invested in him as well too, or initially was invested in him? I'm asking questions to myself, dude, because it's just making my mind think. Like, that would make a lot of sense to me. But it's so weird. Oh, it's because Armand and Lestat are different people. Armand didn't really have any pushback for Lestat trying to bring up this new way for vampires to do things. And from what we've seen so far, he doesn't have any pushback on Louis' new way of doing things either. It's like he's so inquisitive or wanting to know what's going on, probably because he's 514 years old and it's like, dude, what's new? Like, whatever. We doing something new, I'm down. But when Lestat is around Louis and doing that, he couldn't do it because he's so in love with the way that he does things, because my boy is a narcissist and loves himself and thinks the way that he's going about things is probably the right way to do it. And wanted Louis to bend to the way that he does things. That's all headcanon. I could be wrong. Y'all don't have to tell me if I'm wrong or right. Just thoughts. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to get through this episode anyways because I keep blabbering.
Des clous sur une porte à Wittenberg. Tu as amené une réforme, Lestat.
Nous l'avons fait ensemble.
Costume design, set design, getting to see Lestat do his thing and how him and Armand are around each other, and what Lestat introduced to this whole coven is amazing.
Le faux fait tout le travail.
Après une centaine de nuits ici, tu t'ennuies déjà.
You make a better death. That leads me to believe the shit about Louis too, because Louis done found a way to do it without even causing death. And Armand is there letting him drink his fucking blood and shit too. Bro, come on, dude.
Il nous observe.
Elle devrait regarder sa partition.
Oh, it's Nikki.
Je t'aime.
Je t'aime aussi.
Lestat is a bastard, bro.
That's it?
Armand taught Lestat the mind gift. Lestat was gone.
The question was, how do vampires hide from Google, not how did Lestat break his heart?
Because they were good listening, you got answers to both.
He abandoned Nikki. He abandoned Armand. He abandoned the coven. Lestat is, was, and will always be for Lestat.
Never say I love you to a raging narcissist.
And
Sorry.
I have to weigh those words for another 150 years. This is what frightened me most about you.
So it wasn't, or what it seems like, it wasn't because Lestat was going through any type of hell or what happened with Nikki or nothing like that. From what they're saying, Lestat really was just like, I'm on to the next. Okay.
What the hell we know about Cincinnati?
What do they know about Cincinnati? I'm finally working backstage tonight. I won't be late.
You're the one who said he was our maker.
Smile crooks up to the left, bunch of moles on his crotch and thighs.
I don't need that.
I don't know what it is that you need. I remember what I remember.
I try to keep us safe. You might be having a good time now, but there's danger.
And that's all that I was saying. That's all that I was saying. Yes, Claudia likes these vampires and they're not bad to them. But there is some potential for shit to go catastrophic if they find out that they're lying. And in turn, causing them physical and emotional pain, letting them know these vampires ain't too different from old boy.
Armand,
Swaggy.
The door was ajar.
if you open up the windows and the doors, you get a little breeze.
Maitre, welcome to our lair. I got 3 minutes.
Did I give you consent to look me in the eye, Puce?
No, Maitre.
My fault. I was keeping her.
Have I been late once, Maitre?
Have you been early once is the question I'd be asking myself.
How's she doing? I've never seen her happier.
The Coven has grand designs for her. You're drawn to portraiture.
Hides the cracks in the walls.
I like that.
Show me where you go at night.
You're drawing a portrait, it hides the cracks on the walls. Not just the cracks literally in the walls, but it's an outlet for him, something that makes him feel better. Bro, come on, man. Come on.
We are conscious death. Wolf Wangler.
This is my favorite part. How does he get him to beg for it?
Eyes down, Putz. Eyes down.
This is what's called the wet room. A hateful place, you never get over the smell. This is the buddy box. And this is the rat box. You put your freshie, Bagora, the rats do the dirty for you. That's the buddy box. This is the rat box. Coven members past, mostly heretics and lawbreakers.
What laws?
Not till the ceremony, please. They found the heart. Rats love hearts.
It's like her Ricky training. She's the boot.
Try to get lost?
The waters of the Seine, contained and beautiful. There's much talk of your camera in the Coven.
Yeah, right. They should ask me if they're curious.
How could they when you're so rarely present?
I saw enough theater back home for several lifetimes. Not much of a joiner.
It is not the whole reason I'm here.
No. No. It's definitely not the whole reason he's here.
I like you.
I like you.
We really must work on blocking your thoughts. Bruce, I sense him now in your mind. If we were the only vampires in Paris.
For a second, I felt like we were.
The Coven is envious of your independence.
You are too.
You want me, I'm here. In the streets, cafes.
Armand likes that, dude. It's not the exact same thing, but that's what really drew him to Lestat as well too. Somebody who's just different, bro. There's so much to be said about that, and I'm really starting to f with Armand as a character. Like, it seems like he's able to allow people, maybe not all people, but certain people to be who they want to be. Like, if he sees you don't necessarily maybe need some guidance to an extent, he wants to watch you do shit. So I thought he was like some master manipulator, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's just letting people do what they want to do.
Then what room is there left for me if you have not found yourself?
No, there's room.
We were circling each other.
I was putting him in a very difficult position.
I was supposed to be luring him in, but the opposite was happening.
Arguing is foreplay.
Some of my most profound feelings and thoughts were taking shape. Deeply excited and driven to form new conclusions about myself and vampiric life in the abstract. Something wrong, Daniel?
He's like, listen to me, bro.
No, it's the computer. So where's Claudia at this point? How's she doing? What's she doing?
I should have, man. See, this is what makes me wish my eyes were better. Cause what the was he looking at? Hold on.
How do you do it? How do you get them to accept death?
They'll never hear you in the front row with your head down. First thing I do is have a chat with my scene partner for the night. In short, an actor prepares. See you on stage, Claude. And what was your shabby life in Chicago before the vampire brood?
I was in Springfield and little trinkets at the train station.
You were an orphan.
Could say that.
And an orphan again. We have that in common.
Estelle told me you were the youngest.
Oh, really?
Also the strongest. Figured you got the best blood.
My maker lies in the walls downstairs.
Sorry.
Oh, don't be. He deserved his death. Louis, who's from Chicago, yes?
Just outside it, Gary, Indiana.
Stick with it, Puss. You're almost there.
And we just found out he's the strongest. He's the one prying, and he's got some shit going on with his maker too. They are in a little bit of danger.
And it's empty. I can't see the bottom of it.
But if evil is without gradation, and it does exist, this state of evil, then only one sin is needed. That's
Dude.
your argument.
And that's like a conversation to be had. There's degrees to it. Every vampire is not the same, dude. He finna say something to get him killed.
Is the product of the ability of humans to make abstract what is concrete. Will you two kindly shut up so I can hear the music?
Then surely there are degrees and variations to goodness. The goodness of the child, which is innocence. The goodness of the nun, who lives a life of self-deprivation and service.
There is no black and white.
You only want him 'cause you're feeling blue.
Get him, Lestat.
He'll never run his fingers through your hair.
Hey.
I don't know.
He's so fucking petty. He's not really there, but it's...
How long are we going to play games, Louis?
Before you say it, let me tell you a little something about 18th century Armand.
Lestat was my companion in America.
And where is he now? I want you to say it.
I killed him, and he fucking had it coming. Well, you gotta kill me now? What does that mean for Claudia?
Did she help you?
Yes. No.
You broke one of the great laws.
I don't know any great laws. Lestat never told me shit.
I told you I loved you.
Go away.
Calm down.
And you said nothing.
Back to hell with you!
Louis?
This episode better not be getting ready to end. I know that much. I need a little more now. That speech says what's been shown with Armand this entire episode. He lets things happen.
I'm still the only one you trust. Kill me again. The only way you know how to love.
Built up to a rag hanging out his gas tank.
Thought we'd be on that road for a long time. His last words were, "Had enough of your gloomy faces."
Good.
It was better when he broke my bones. That was fine. It was when he had me pinned.
All right.
You're gonna let me join the Covenant this week. It'd be nice if you come.
Super important moment for Claudia, right? She's held that for how many years and not been able to talk about it. And to have Louis there with her in this moment too. The way I look at trauma may be different than a lot of people. A lot of people say, you know, as time goes on, you forget about things. I don't believe that. As time goes on, you learn how to live with things. From my opinion, you learn how to live with things that you've went through and how to process them a little better and move forward. Never forgetting what truly happened, but being able to manage it and understand that those moments don't define you as a person. And here she's calling back to that, able to speak about it and talk to Louis about it, but also I don't want to say she's at peace with it, or that she's accepted it, because that sounds crazy to say too, but she's able to move forward through what she's been through. Excuse me. And Louis saying that he's going to be there at her show and everything for her as well too, or at her show, for being able to join the coven is going to be great. But I feel like their time is running out as far as, well, Armand already knows, but I feel like the rest of the coven is going to be finding out some shit soon, and I don't even think it's going to be of Armand's doing. I think Santiago's kind of on to some things, so we'll see what happens.
The lawyer for the buyer is ready for the teleconference.
The lawyer?
It's about the Bacon triptych.
Would you mind, Daniel?
Mr. Bacon also referred to these as the Three Furies.
The reverse on the right panel is inscribed Petersfield.
Woodcutter.
Who are you?
I am who you think I am. Woodcutter.
Go away.
Look who's graced us with his presence. What an honor.
He's here in support of the girl. Finish the performance.
Kill you next.
Why don't you tell us who you are?
Why don't you tell us who you are is... He's straight up talking to Louis right now. This show is so clean how that line is. I don't know if it's not really a double entendre, but how it's speaking to two different people, the acting and also to Louis. Tell us who you are, honestly. Santiago's on this shit, and
You've had your time to recruit. It's not happening. He will be the ruin of us. Do what must be done.
Are you making demands? And do you speak for the coven?
Uh-oh. You're in danger. See?
After she's committed herself to us, then I'll do what must be done. Does that satisfy?
Did in my maker for fathers.
Does that satisfy?
It does, maître. All respect.
How did it feel?
Like home.
I have something for you. Sit.
I was going to say a second ago, it's the same soundtrack they played whenever Claudia told Louis, I know you want to kill him too. And they use it as a moment that was like, oh, shit. So something is about to happen, or the next is going to end on a crazy note, bro.
What is it, Matron?
It's a flea circus.
The 5 laws.
Let the youngest read in the youngest. Shall we have a walk?
Uh-oh.
The 5 laws. Each coven must have its leader, and only he might order the working of the dark trick upon a mortal. The dark gifts must never be given to the crippled, the maimed, or to children.
More reason I should leave.
No vampire must commit to writing the history of the vampires.
You exposed us.
Oh, Louis.
Should I allow the London Coven such exposure?
No vampire shall ever reveal his or her true nature to a mortal and let the mortal live. Except that the Coven Master has the power of life and death over all his flock.
I will not harm you.
This motherfucker got fired.
My maker was a vampire named Bruce.
Where are we going?
We're going to get lost and end up back by the river.
I will.
A flea no more.
She won't be here very long.
What?
You made her at 14.
That's what I'm thinking.
The most turbulent chemistry.
You don't know her?
I don't have to. I've seen too much, Louis.
I have questions, but I feel like I need to let this episode play out. But there's so many thoughts in my head, but I paused so much that I don't want to.
You didn't think we were going to leave you in the wet room, did you?
My baby loves windows.
You'll be their little birdie for the next 50 years.
The savage garden.
Tell her she's beautiful. Tell her that every morning.
He ain't even worried about himself in his last moments. We have to leave.
You walk me home. That's my building over there.
Are you broken?
No, but I carry him.
I did a century or so ago. But it's time to a vampire.
You feel me? Armana's a goat too.
Are you inviting me in?
Are you gonna kill me?
So my question is, like, I can't help but think about how things are. Like, we don't know anything about Claudia now. We don't know about the Coven. We don't all we know is Armand and Louis are together. So is this Armand giving away his position as the leader and leaving Claudia with that group, and also Louis leaving? Like, I guess for that I'd have to wait. It seems like the plan was to get rid of Louis. So yeah, it looked like, I don't want to say I was right in my assumptions, but like, yeah, like there are to a degree, like in a sense, they had the potential of being in some serious harm or danger. This was my favorite episode of the series so far. I think I love everything that Armand kind of stands for. Like, to an extent, he lets you figure things out. He'll wait. He'll play the long game because, kind of like he said at the end, he broke my heart over a century ago or yesterday. Like, what is time to a vampire? So he's been around so long. Like, what is waiting 3 months for you to tell me something really even me, bro? I've been alive for 514 fucking years. Like, you know, I liked hearing about his not upbringing, but how it was in the old times, and then Lestat's era and what he kind of meant to Armand. Maybe not the first person, but from what we see, the first person that he told him that he loved them. And I think it has a lot to do with somebody being able to break up the pace for him, something different, something that goes against like their laws or their codes, or it's just something that's it intrigues Armand to such an extent. Even hearing how Louis deals with being a vampire, like it's like he's had those thoughts, and it felt good to hear them come out of somebody else's mouth. Like, okay, I'm not alone in this train of thought. Somebody else is able to see what I'm seeing. Like, even when he let Lestat come in there and tell all his people to go, he knew he could have said it, but it was different coming from somebody else. Like, he's willing to let things play out and go on. Hopefully he's wrong about what he said about Claudia. Like, it's gonna make her mind go crazy and she won't be able to control it. I hope Armand's wrong about that. Dude, his character he's in second place. He's behind Lestat for me. It's Lestat, Armand, and Claudia. I do like Santiago too, though. I do like Louis too, though. And I do like Daniel too. I don't know, man. They're all great characters with a lot of depth to them. Is if you give them a chance to try to understand them and see what's going on with them a lot. We got Nikki this episode. We got Nikki, and Lestat was dogging him out the same way that he's done, same way that he did Louis. You know what I'm saying? The same way he basically did Armand. He did Armand. There's something to be said about understanding who you're getting, though. So for Armand, I do feel bad for him, but you knew what the he was talking to you because he's with Nikki and you see what he's doing with you. So for him to break your heart, you can almost kind of like expect that. Like, we've all had a life before. If you start talking to somebody and they're still talking to somebody else, and then in turn they end up cheating on you, can you be surprised they were talking to people before y'all even started talk? Like, you know what time it was. Not to say that takes any points away from Armand and how I feel about him. It just is what it is. Like, you gotta see people for what they are. And Lestat, like people were saying, it seems like he might just be caring about himself, even though he does love people and stuff like that. It was crazy to me that he just left on his own accord. Like, there wasn't anything from what we're seeing that really pushed him to do that. He just was ready to go and venture out and see new things and have new beginnings, I guess. Santiago is another, like, just excuse me, I don't want to diminish him to say he's a vampire, but like another great vampire that he's scary to an extent, because we know, like, he's awesome. I don't give a type shit. Like, he don't give a and he's smart and he's trying to learn and understand what everybody's doing. And they talk about him being one of the most powerful ones, and something about his maker getting destroyed by Armand. So I'm curious if we're ever gonna get answers to that. I might be missing some stuff, man. Y'all feel free to comment, talk, whatever, because I might have to make another video for this one, or I might add something at the end of when I start editing it for Patreon. I might add something else to it just to talk some more about this episode, because I'm honestly, this is my favorite episode so far, honestly. But I'm happy for Claudia right now. If everything is what it is, if she's gonna be able to have these people and be good with them, and I talked about how I loved her being able to, love is a strong word, and happy, like I think it's good for the character that she's able to be able to express, to speak to somebody about the stuff that she went through with Bruce. And I know probably that whole thing even being added in is a big talking point for the people who've read the book, because what you guys have told me, like, that doesn't even happen to her. That doesn't even happen to her at all in the book. So we can discuss that if y'all want to discuss it. We cannot discuss it if y'all don't want to. It's up to y'all. I don't know what else I want to say besides thank you. Shout out to my patrons for just rocking with me on these, communicating with me about these shows. I'm sorry when I don't reply, but like I said, y'all know my eyes is not the greatest. They're getting stronger, they're getting better, but it ain't like I can't always get to them. But y'all are good talking to each other, so it's whatever. Thank you, I appreciate y'all. YouTube, if you want these early, man, if you're watching this on YouTube, that means we probably already done with the series and have moved on to some other stuff that we want to watch. So if you want to watch these early or along with us, I'm not gonna say you need to be on Patreon, but if you want the full, $5, man, it's cheaper than a number 2 meal at McDonald's. You feel me? Y'all have a good day. I appreciate you guys, and take it easy.